Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to start painting the ogre. Now, with the other videos being over, or the other miniatures from this team, with the complete painting video being over multitude of videos, I don't know how many I'm going to do with this, so I'm just going to do it straight off. I'm not going to be saying I won't come back and when this is dried and that kind of thing. I'm just going to paint it and then stop, and then it's going to be a lot easier for having to joint it together, if you get me drift. Anyway, we are going to be painting this, and I'm going to be using a much darker skin tone, so I'm going to go with Bugman's Glow to start it off, and pop that on our palette. Right, so I'm putting quite a bit on because we may need quite a bit. I can always come back and add more if need be, but the fact that there's a lot of skin tone here, and we'll be using this as well for highlighting later on, you know, it's always better to have too much than too little sometimes, especially if you're mixing colours. But there we are. Right, so let's make a start, shall we? Oh, before I forget, I'll pop the lamps on so I can see what I'm doing, and we'll get into the Bugman's Glow, and we'll go all over with this colour. In fact, I may even, once I've run short of paint on this brush, I'm going to change brushes because this is way too small for what I want, and I'll be here all day. So I'm going to paint everywhere with this, but obviously trying to keep away from the parts where we don't want this, but I'm not too fussed at the moment if I catch them. And get down to the last leg, as it were, or the final bit rather, which will be the second leg technically, but there we are, never mind. I want to make sure that it's a good even coverage. I don't think that the flesh tone is going to work here. I really don't. Because this particular colour is a bit too dark, I think, for the flesh colour to work. I may be wrong. I'll give it a try. Nothing stopping me doing that, but I have not the confidence in that to cover it up and darken it sufficiently. So I'm not going to use that for this particular mini. But also, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to wash it now. I'm going to wait for the time being until all the mini is actually painted, because I think that would be the best bet for this particular miniature. Right, next job, we're going to do the boots. So the boots is going to be a mix of dark stone and Abaddon black. So I'll put the dark stone down first. Oops, Put that down first, and then we'll put a little bit of Abaddon Black down. I'm not foreseeing the use of much use of the black, but I'll put it down on the safe side. Obviously I could have used the Army Painter Black, but I decided just to use this one instead. And this time I'm using my Citadel starter brush, which I got with the, if you remember the what do they call it, the magazine that came out with the pieces in for 40k. You got a couple of pots of paint and a brush in the first one, along with some sort of Space Marine chappies. So that's where I got this brush from. I got the first one, but then I thought, why am I getting this when I don't do 40k? It was just a case of there were some colours on the magazine. I think the paints that came with it were ones I needed at the time. So I think that was the reason I bought it, more than anything else. And here we go again. It's not, as you can tell, a very good coverage. But it will be covered by the time I've finished. I'm not sure if it's because I've mixed paints, like the Army Painter I've mixed with a Citadel, or whether it's just that the what do you call it, the dark stone is just quite a watery paint, and it's diluted the black too much. I don't know, but we'll get it done. We'll get it done. So we'll just get this done all over the boots. I think I may need to redo part of the boot as well when I remove it from the base to glue it onto the proper base for it. As you can see, it's definitely not being kept on this base. That looks a bit darker. Right, oh, that looks much better for boots. The thing I've found about this, or these minis, is that if you catch them with a nail or something, the paint very easily comes off. Now I don't know whether that's the material or what, but I've not found that with other minis. It's quite easy to catch your nail on some of these, so just be careful as you're painting, especially when you're manhandling it like I am here. In fact, what I might do is take the man here off and change over. That way I've got something to hold on to, I'm not catching the mini itself. There we are, that looks better. I've just realised I painted the underneath of one boot, but I can't paint the underneath of the other because it's glued down, so I don't think I should have painted the underneath of both, but never mind. So we just go over boots, and just keep going until you've got a good even coverage. We don't want it to be, we don't want to look blotchy and patchy in any way. Now it looks much better. Now, for the gloves, I'm going to take some of this Bugman's Glow and mix it in with the paint colour from the gloves, from the boots, sorry. Like this rather interesting browny colour, and we're going to go over the gloves in this. I will be changing the colour of this. It won't look, it's not going to be brown, it's too much at the moment. Like the colour of the flesh. And I want these a totally, oops, sorry, I want these a totally different colour. So that's why I say I'm going to change the colour. I'm just doing this, and as you can see, again, I've lost detail in here because of the where the support or the injection mould was, or the injection hole was for the resin. I don't know. As I said before, I'm not sure whether these are 3D printed or whether they're actually moulded. But it's quite irritating that where you want some details there isn't any, because of these long sticks that are attached to the Mini. But when all said and done, the underside of the fists are going to be facing down, they're not going to be facing up, so when you're playing the game you won't see it. I'm just going to spread some paint out and round about. Mustn't forget the top area. At the moment these are looking quite like old boxing gloves. You know, the old leather boxing gloves you can find in museums, and this looks very like the colour of them. But as I say, I'm not keeping these in that colour. So I'll clean off this brush, and then we'll go to the shorts, which are just like the other ones we've done, going to be deep blue. So give this a good shake. I want to give it more of a shake and a bit more violent of a shake before I put it down, just to make sure I've got everything right, got it all mixed properly. And we'll pop that over here. There are some droplets of water around and about. I'll just suck some of them up on the brush, wipe it off, back into the paint, and we can paint the shorts now. Now strangely, there's not as many details in these shorts as there were in the shorts of the two human players and the two halflings, but we're still going to do them. Anyway, so I'm giving, as I say, I'm giving them all near enough the same look. Throw on one team, as it were. I know usually when you look at wrestling, tag team partners don't necessarily have the same, don't necessarily wear the same kind of outfit, but this is fantasy. Don't forget, so with fantasy we can do what we want, and I'm having it so that these teams of wrestlers are acting as a team and representing as a team, which means they're all wearing the same or similar coloured clothing. Now, for me, I've just gone over the gloves. I have to quickly wipe that off, go back into the gloves, mix and repaint. Oh, I thought I'd finished with the blue. I haven't, I've just seen a spot that I've missed, which is the easiest way of getting to it there, probably. Mind you, this is going to have a going over again. Not quite as good a coat as I thought it was going to be. Well, never mind. We'll just keep going until it's a nice even coat. Again, we don't want patchwork here. I suppose could always leave it like this and it'd be denim, but when you actually come and put the wash on, it might stand out a little too much. So I don't want to risk it. Oh yeah, so that's that for the shorts. And finally, all that's left really for base coating is the towel. And the towel, I think, is going to have what colour can we do the towel? Let's see. Yes, let's do the towel Nurgling green. There we are. Now where on earth have I put my brush? Oh, so I'll get the Nurgling green onto the palette. Give it a wash, and then get into it. You want to keep this quite a pale colour. So we'll try and keep it that way. I don't want too much. Oh, it's not. Hang on, I thought it was a towel. It's not a towel, it's a jacket. It's a waistcoaty kind of thing. So we're not going to do that. Change my mind. Not going to do that. In fact, beggar it. We'll keep it there. I'm just going to touch up some areas here. So it's not going to be green. No, it's not going to be green. Now, change that. We're going to do it spaceship exterior. So we're going to do this. We're going to match it to the other fella's leotard kind of thing. or t-shirt it was, not a leotard. So we'll bang this on over here. Sorry, making sure that we don't go over the skin, or trying our best not to go over the skin. If you catch it in a couple of places, then that's okay. It can be still corrected to a point. So far we haven't done any highlights on it, because I found myself quite restricted last time, because I decided to do the highlights, get all the skin done first and then do the highlights, which is something I don't normally do. I normally get everything base coated and then do the highlights when all the base coats are added. But I did it completely different the other day when I was doing the other minis. Got all the skin done first, if you remember, and then, oops, see, I've caught the skin tone there with the white. And normally, if I'd have been doing this the way I did it the other day, I couldn't do anything then, so I had to be incredibly careful where I put each brush stroke. But now, because I haven't done anything more than just base coat this area, I can come back and make the adjustments that I need to make. Everything about painting is making adjustments, not corrections, adjustments. I say this time and time again. You can see there's a slight green cast to this part of the jacket, of the waistcoat, because of the green I put on earlier. So I'm trying to get it to cover a lot better. I may even just go over everywhere and give it all a slight green cast. It would make it look a little more interesting, I think, once we put the white highlights on. Oh yeah. And now, as I say, we can come along with a thinner brush and make the adjustments we need to the edges of the skin. So round about here, we can just come down with the brush and just touch up everywhere where we've caught skin tone with this white. And bear in mind, I want the skin tone to be dark. I mean, I'm going as near as I can to the colour scheme that is shown in the official photographs for these, or for the in-house artists have done for the cards and whatnot. But I'm changing a few things. But the ogre in the pictures is dark skinned. Funnily enough, the male ogre is dark skinned, but the female ogre isn't. But when I get to painting the female ogre, I will be doing it to match this fella. I like a nice distinct look to characters, especially when there's different, I'll say species here because there's halflings, there's humans and there's an ogre. So where there's different species, I like having a different look to each species. Especially if they're all humanoid, like these. So I did the halflings slightly darker than the humans, and I'm doing the ogre a lot darker than both of them, just so he stands out. Oops, and now I've gone over the waistcoats, I'm going to have to make the adjustment there as well. See how it works? Yes, I'll move the camera a little bit to make sure I don't keep going off. Now I have to go back into the white and brush wipes them off, wipe the paints off, and go back into it. There we go. I think that's not quite. There's just down here I need to do, and that should be that. Okay, so I don't think there's anywhere else I need to do with the flesh tone. Let's just make sure. I've just seen something with the white. I need to make sure that this white is covered completely where it needs to be white. If there was a slight green tint to it from the first paint I put on, that's fine. It could be a reflection of something, but I want it mainly to be, I want to make sure it's mainly white. Okay, so that's that done. Next we're going down to washing. So this is where CD palette comes in. As I said, I don't think that the flesh tone is going to be a good fit for this. I think it just about, oh hang on, I just noticed a bit of a scrape on his shoulder there. So I don't think, as I say, the flesh tone is going to be a good fit. So what I'm going to put on, when I can go over and get it, I've got the flesh wash here, I've got the green tone here, I've got dark tone here. What's the other one I've got? Mid brown. I don't think, I'm not quite sure how the mid brown is. Let's give it a shake and put some out and let's have a look. That might work. Let's have a crack with this first, see what happens. Okay, I'm not sure. I really am not sure. I don't think this is going to be good. But we'll see. Once it's dried, we'll get a better look, feel of how it is. If it needs another coat, I'll have to do another coat, but I will do that off camera. So when we actually come back, it will be washed. But we'll either washed again, washed with a different wash, or left alone. because as I say, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but the proof, as they say, is in the pudding, and this pudding is going to get examined quite severely, especially for this mini. But we go through quite a lot of this wash, don't we? But let's see how it is. Hopefully it gives enough of a tone. In fact, I'm going to go over I'm not faffing about, I'm just going to go over all the skin, the gloves, the boots, the shorts. The only thing I'm not going over with this is the waistcoat. By the gods, I need more. There we go. So we'll just crack on with it and see how it goes. As I say, once we come back we can make a decision in regards to highlighting, but I'm not thinking of that. No, I'm not doing. I'm not going over the white. I've caught the white, so I'll have to get rid of it off the white, but I think that is it. Yep, it is. So I'm just going to dampen my brush, and then on the white where I've caught it, I'm just going to run the damp brush over and then get a piece of kitchen towel, scrunch it up and just give it a gentle wipe. Don't want to go mad with this, because if you do, you'll scrape the paint off. I also need to stickificate this poster tack that's on top here, so to do that you just knead it between your fingers, and the natural oils in your fingers will make it sticky again. And when you can feel it becoming sticky, put it back on and stick it down. And oops, we need to clean off a bit more. There we go. And there we are. Once it's dried, we can see what we're doing properly. We can come along and make any other further adjustments that we need to make. But as I say, we're going to have to leave that one to dry now before we can do anything else.